If you live in Utah, perhaps you've noticed like on every corner there is a Swig, a Thirst, a Sodalicious. The dirty soda craze has completely blown up. And with me on the program, who is a filmmaker who's been examining this craze, Madison Pope. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
I'll put this a little closer to you.
There. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess, first of all, what made you decide you wanted to do a film on dirty soda?
So I've been working at Trademark Films, which is in Provo, and they do documentary films. So we were filming something in Texas, and whenever anyone would find out that the crew was from Utah, they kept asking is the dirty soda a thing? Because at that point it had kind of gone viral and online on Instagram and TikTok and stuff. So people outside of Utah had become aware of it. And so we thought, okay, there's something here. And so we started exploring it about a year and a half ago.
Huh. And you've just been recording, researching, following people? Yeah,
we kind of just went down the rabbit hole of dirty soda. So we interviewed business owners. We did a lot of local soda drinkers. We talked to Thirst and Sodalicious. But then we also looked at the psychology of it. So we talked to Dr. Julie Hanks, and then we talked to a Mormon historian, Patrick Mason, just to kind of talk about how the religious aspect plays into it. And then we talked to Jen Affleck and Zach Affleck from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So we kind of just wanted to combine the culture and also kind of the religion, and then also just people living in Utah, and just kind of talk about the nuances of it, and just kind of celebrate it, and also make fun of ourselves, and also just so it's a fun, lighthearted documentary.
That sounds really interesting, especially the religious component, why that happened here in Utah of all places, and why it's now just completely blown up. What did the church leader or church historian have to say about it?
So that was really fun, because a lot of it, in Utah, we're in a place where people aren't drinking as much coffee and they aren't drinking as much alcohol. But then there is this large population who is getting caffeine in a different way, through soda, and then kind of playing around with soda and making their own sodas. And so it kind of just created this perfect little bubble for dirty soda to kind of take off. And so it was fun to kind of explore that, and also just talk about, because it used to be kind of caffeine was sort of a no-no. Even
I remember Coke was not okay for quite a while, but then Tab was. My mom would drink Tab.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yeah.
And then she started drinking Dr. Pepper, and I'm like, well, why didn't you drink Coke? Then I think the Mormon church's okay, you can drink Coke now.
Yeah, there was a lot of debate over it. It was more of a cultural thing, because in some areas people were drinking Coke and never thought twice about it. I felt where I grew up in northern Utah in Logan. I grew up not drinking caffeinated soda. That was a no-no. And then, but the church, so we got to the bottom of it with Patrick, that the church never had a formal statement that caffeinated soda was off limits. So it was definitely more of a cultural thing. But you can definitely see how people got to that conclusion, because you think what ties together the coffee and the tea is the caffeine, but herbal teas seem to be fine to drink. Hot chocolate is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Those don't have caffeine.
It's a strange,
so maybe it's the caffeine. So
it's so odd, and I think for people who are not so familiar with the Mormon Church, probably we should explain the word of wisdom.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, so the word of wisdom was a revelation that Joseph Smith had in the early church. And when he got this revelation, it is kind of a health code. It says different things in it, to avoid tobacco, strong drinks, hot drinks. It says to eat meat sparingly. It says to eat herbs and grains and stuff you should do. And so then this was actually, it wasn't considered doctrine. It was more of a good suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
So people didn't actually really practice it. I mean, people did and respected it, but then also people were still, drinking tea or alcohol, and it was kind of like a good thing to do, but it wasn't like really heavily enforced.
Mm-hmm.
And not really until like the Prohibition movement happened. Like that's when they really started like enforcing the word of wisdom. That's when it became like a temple recommend question. So like at that point,
during Prohibition.
Yeah, like around that same time. And so like the president of the church was a big supporter of Prohibition. And so at that point it became like a temple recommend question. So if you wanted to enter the temple, you had to be like keeping the word of wisdom. And they kind of focused more on like the youth of the church first, and they didn't really bother too much with like the older people who were set in their ways. And then so I think that was a really interesting part of history. And then when Prohibition was lifted, it's like already a church rule, and it's stuck around. So yeah,
that's interesting. I studied it a little bit, and something I ran into was Brigham Young started enforcing the word of wisdom when a lot of Mormons were spending their hard currency on imports from back east. These big wagon trains would come, and a lot of the products they had were coffee and tobacco and liquor. And he's like, remember that word of wisdom thing? We're going to start cracking down. Like, we want you to spend your hard, because all the hard currency was going out of the state back when these wagon trains would come. But I think that was probably a more brief period where they're like, okay, let's stop drinking alcohol for a while, or tobacco products, so we can keep the currency in our local economy.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
But I don't know. I actually don't know which, but I'm sure it's
probably... I mean, I feel like there are like a lot of kind of layers to it. Like there's that economy thing in Utah, Brigham Young keeping the economy here, and then there's like Prohibition. So I think like there's a lot of outside things that kind of like had a pull on it, but then so it's funny.
But it was basically me growing up like you growing up. No coffee, no tea, no tobacco. Just like, we're not doing that. We're separate. We're separating ourselves from those worldly practices. But soda is okay.
Soda is okay.
And apparently,
and we'll take it.
There was a documentary called Happy Valley where opioids for a while were okay too. And then I think eventually people were like, okay, opioids are not okay. But so when you were researching this, did you identify, was it primarily Utah County where this just exploded, this soda craze?
So it's funny because Swig started in St. George. That was the first like dirty soda drive-through. So they opened their first store in 2010, I think, in St. George. And then in Utah County, I think they came to Utah County in like 2013. And that's also the same year that Sodalicious opened their first like store. And so, and it kind of just like slowly grew. Then what I found interesting too is like I talked to the owner of Thirst, Ethan Cisneros, and he told us about opening Thirst in Salt Lake in 2015 and how much of a struggle it was because it is more coffee drinkers. There's more diversity in Salt Lake. So he had to really work for it to keep his soda shop going. But I think in Utah County, there was definitely more of a bubble there, and it like really took off.
Mm-hmm. And do they attribute it to also the fact that Utahns consume a ton of sugar? It just seems to me like it seems to me like we just love freaking sugar.
We love sugar.
Like when the Krispy Kremes were taken off, everybody was going bonkers over the Krispy Kreme donuts, and now it seems like donuts are seeing a second resurgence. I'm seeing more and more donut cookie shops, like Crumble Cookie is also doing incredibly well here. And it seems like those two trends have kind of coincided, the cookie and the soda trend.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But psychologically, examining it from that, what did you learn from talking to a psychologist about that? Why it's happening?
So we did talk about, we didn't talk so much about the sugar and stuff, but we did talk about kind of how like sugar and caffeine is kind of hits your reward systems in your brain. And so it's easy to become like habitual with it. Caffeine less so. I guess you're not so much addicted to caffeine as you become like dependent on it, because it changes the way your like blood vessels work and stuff like that. So your body gets like really used to having it. So when it doesn't have the caffeine, you have negative side effects. So like that was kind of an interesting differentiation. And then, but like the sugar can become very addictive because it just gives you like this huge rush in your system. And then when it goes away, your brain can feel really angry. Like, where did that go? I want that. So yeah, it can get into like an interesting cycle.
And a lot of the people who most frequent the dirty soda places, they're kind of like regulars, right?
Yeah. When we, every time I talk to people who were workers inside soda shops, they would always tell us that most of their customers were regulars.
Yeah. Do we have any comments, Eddie? Want to share?
Yeah, somebody asked, I don't know what dirty soda is either, but I don't drink soda, haven't in many years. One person also asked, a soda place, interesting, would these be homemade? So some people just don't even know what dirty soda is.
Yeah, let's give an explanation. What is dirty soda, Madison?
Okay, so dirty soda is basically you take soda and then you add creamers, a lot of like coffee creamers. Some people add like half and half. You can add flavored syrups to it, fruit purees. So you're basically just like pimping out your soda with creams and sugars. And
Might want to specify what you mean by soda too, because there are regional differences, like soda water or like a Dr.
Oh,
Pepper,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so Coke products, Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew. But they do make, like, they call them refreshers, where it's with, like, tap water or soda water, where they put a lot of fruits and, like, flavors into it.
Yeah. It's like taking soda, which already has shit tons of sugar,
Yeah.
and adding more sugar.
Yeah, unless you do diet.
Making it dirtier.
Yeah.
And so it's like not for the health conscious.
Yeah, not really.
And if you're okay, like just like preparing yourself for diabetes in an older age, it's a great thing to do every day.
Yeah, unless you're doing the zero sugars and the diet drinks.
Yeah, which brings me to a great segue to show a clip. I discovered this guy, and I kind of became obsessed with him for a while. His name is, he does a thing on TikTok called Life of a Soda Addict, and the guy drinks hundreds of ounces of soda every single day. This clip here just shows how much soda he drinks in a day, and it's just unfathomable. I'm going to play the clip for you. If you switch that on, the speaker's on.
It's not coming through.
I think.
Cam 2. Where's mic 2 on Cam 2?
Let me go back 1 second. You getting it now?
Try it one more time.
This is Life of a Soda Addict Part 12. See how much soda I can drink in a day. I start every morning with 4 sodas on my way to the gym. Need that caffeine, so 48 ounces. Fill up my 100 ounce, that's 148 ounces on my way back from the gym. Finish that off, get a couple more Diet Dr. Peppers. Finish that off. Now I'm going to get 3 Frescas and pour them into a thermos. Add some Torani flavoring down that. Get a couple more, another couple, or 258. Pound those, go through some more meetings. Pound some more. Now I'm gonna go run an errand for my wife, but get a thirst drink, 44 ounces there. End of the day, gonna play a little college football 2025, pound some soda then. Gotta run another errand, pound some more soda.
So he's up to
Now I'm going to the movie,
466
get 3 of
ounces,
these
566
32
ounces.
Fill them up through the course of
Crazy.
the film. Wrapping up my day with a little extra, finishing off at close to
4.79
5
gallons.
Here's evidence that I've been drinking all this as well. Look at all those cans.
So this guy is obviously not typical Utah County, but are there a lot of people who just pound soda all day? Did you find?
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
It's not that uncommon?
Steve is at a different level than anyone in the world, probably. But
he's in the documentary.
And Steve is in the documentary. Yeah, it's funny. I'd never heard of Steve before, but when I was preparing, like researching and stuff for the documentary, I'd like posted some stuff on my Instagram stories, and my friend said you should get in touch with my brother. So Steve ended up being one of my friend's brothers, and so we got in touch with him that way. And then I went to the grocery store with him when he did a soda haul and filmed him buying 12 packs of soda.
Jeez.
That was for the next 2 to 3 weeks. So, yeah.
And does he say he's doing it as sort of like a sensational thing to challenge to see how much he can drink, or why does he say he's doing it?
I didn't ask Steve why. I just did it more as an observational approach. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of unanswered questions in our documentary about Steve. He probably deserves his own spin-off documentary. But I did not get into his psychology of why he does what he does. I was probably just overwhelmed with just the volume of this soda. So. 4 or 5 gallons of soda a day. I mean, you would think if he wasn't doing sugar-free, his kidneys would be wrecked. But doesn't even sugar-free soda wreck your kidneys? So I don't know. I do drinking that much liquid, whether or not it's soda, is a lot on your kidneys. If he was just drinking that much water, that would be a lot. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It's crazy. So what kind of conclusions did you come to about Utah culture, about the soda craze, and how and why this has just sort of blown up here? Yeah, I think it was kind of fun to kind of take a little bit of a deeper look and really talk to people who are drinking soda. And it's not as sinister as we sometimes think it is or point it out to be. It's also not as excessive as we kind of think. We know it's a lot, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be in some respects. And I don't want to spoil too much of our documentary, but there is a very human element to it, and there's a big element of connection where if you don't have your coffee shop, this is a third space that's not home, and it's not work, and it's where you can go be with friends or have a little of your own downtime and stuff. And there is kind of people love that connection with the workers and the employees, and just having that regular routine and stuff. It's it's a very social thing. Yeah. My little coffee joints we go to, Bjorn's Brew in Java, they know we kind of get to know them a little bit, and they know our dog, and it's kind of nice to drive in and you see them, they see your dog. I mean, you don't hang out though, it's not you start up any in-depth conversations, but I guess I would assume that people looking for community or just that little validation of just oh, someone knows me. And where we're really disconnected on our phones and stuff, it's just nice to be out in the wild and oh, someone knows me. Yeah. On another note, so how did you get into filmmaking? What made you decide to become a filmmaker? Yeah, so I went to Utah State. I was studying painting and drawing. And then I had there was a graphic design professor there who had an interest in film. And he had somehow gotten a hold of some cameras and stuff. And he kind of set things up so that we could play with these cameras and kind of start doing projects. And part of the university purchasing the equipment was hey, it's our 100th year anniversary of the art department. We want a documentary made. And so me and a small group of students, we made a documentary of the art department. And then after we finished that, we still had the equipment. So we kind of made up this secret video class. We would just meet once a week at night. The school would give us like advanced graphic design credits because they didn't know what to do with us, and then ended up just making like a short documentary while I was there. And then when I graduated, I was like, oh, like I can get paid for like doing video work. So then I kind of dived into like more like the commercial side of things, and it took a long time, but a couple years ago I got this job offer to work on documentaries, and I was like super stoked. And so yeah, it kind of was like an accident. I never like thought like, oh, I want to be a filmmaker. I just kind of did some and then just like had to keep doing it, like kind of got hooked by it.
Yeah. What is it about documentaries that you like in particular? Is it the research? Is it the filmmaking process, editing?
Yeah, I've never like really been drawn to like doing fictional work, and I think I just really love that it's like real people, real events, things that are happening. I think it's just a way to kind of like, the world is magical if you look at it the right way, you know. And I think it's just like finding kind of those like little gems in like our everyday life and like what's special about the things around us. I think that's what really kind of interests me.
That's cool. Yeah. When I was at the U, I did a degree customization between documentary filmmaking and journalism.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't have a doc program, but I was like, I don't care about narrative film. I want to do docs, and so I did a bunch of them. And I was like, what the heck can I do with this now? And I couldn't find any jobs. That's why I started Utah Stories. And just like, just started putting little films online. But do you think documentaries still have a place in movie theaters? Or do you think that the streaming platforms are now just the way most docs have to be released?
I mean, for me personally, I've never watched a documentary in a theater outside of a film festival.
Yeah, it's pretty rare probably now.
But like when they come out on Netflix, I'm like eating them up. Like they've got like great content. I think, I don't know, I think it's some of the best content like I've seen this last year. Yeah. There's a lot of really good ones.
I not into all of the salacious stuff, but somebody told me about the Ruby Frankie one that was on Hulu, and I was like, wow, this is like some serious deep dive they've done into this. And then I got involved in a documentary a few years ago that never came out. I don't know what happened, but it was on the Young Living Farms and the doTERRA
really?
essential oil.
What was like the angle on that one?
That one was, so we broke a story. It was actually the first story we ever had go super viral.
Yeah.
And it was called Lavender Fields of Deceit.
Oh!
It was about how Young Living Farms their reps were making claims that were absolutely not verifiable or with factual evidence. But Young Living was able to distance themselves from the claims because those were just the independent reps. They weren't actually employees of Young Living.
Okay.
And so they said you can pretty much say that you can get pregnant using Young Living oils, or you can overcome cancer or overcome obesity and solve any sort of problem imaginable.
Wow.
And one lady who was working at Young Living's wrote the first story for us,
really?
The Lavender Fields of Deceit. And she said they're fine if you say you can get pregnant by using our oils, and they're not going to say don't say that.
Okay. Wait, so what happened to that?
And
project?
so that story did really well. We did like 3 or 4 others.
I feel like I've heard,
And they all were doing incredibly well. And then we watched our story performance just totally decline. Like, we were top result on Google when you type in Young Living Farms. They hired a reputation management company. And I mean, they must have paid that reputation management company like tens of thousands of dollars to produce content that would supersede ours in the Google search algorithm. And I was like, that's kind of interesting that they can just sort of suppress the truth
Big oil.
by by just flooding Google with content with lots of inbound links.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, and I was like, interesting, because I wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have probably given me $300,000, and I would have taken the stories down,
Hey.
and that could have saved them money from reputation management. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was
wild.
bizarre. But I was like, so this filmmaking company approached me and says, "Hey, you want to do a documentary?" And I was like, "Sure." So they interviewed me, and it was weird because it seemed like it had already been picked up by Hulu or Netflix, and
Seriously.
so ready to go. But I kind of suspect that perhaps Young Living just gave them a bunch of money to not have the movie come out.
Wow. Let's make a doc about how it didn't come out.
Just the
Find out what
suppression of
happened.
information if you have enough
Interesting.
money. I think that's a
I hope Big Soda doesn't come for us.
yeah. It's a crazy trend though.
Wow. Wild.
Yeah, that was like over a 10-year period though. That was like our first viral story.
Okay.
But speaking of like how big money influences what we learn about and understand, have you followed the data center in Tremont? Have you seen how that's
crazy.
that's rolled out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to me that Mr. Wonderful thought that this data center would just be embraced with open arms by Utahns.
Like what?
And like we just, it was the dumbest rollout ever.
Yeah.
And the PR job on it was, these Utahns, you won't believe how fast they said yes and how they get the joke, and we're going to build the largest data center here, and he's bragging about it on some Fox News show.
Could not be more wrong.
Yeah. And so now we have this giant data center, and the governor's trying to play damage control.
So crazy.
And it's just bizarre how we're foisted these ideas by these elites, and we're supposed to just be like, oh yeah, that's so cool, sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But I think the thing I like about documentaries is they're always, digging deeper. Like if you can go beyond the surface layers of stories and actually get into, okay, what's really behind what is going on here, then you can start to understand like who are the bigger players involved, who's actually manipulating the information we're getting, and how do you find the truth,
Yeah, documentary is really powerful that way because, I mean, and a lot of times you don't have to go very far to put pieces together. And then when you're also like interviewing getting different voices from, different people, and you get all these different perspectives, and then once you can like put it all together, take a look at everything, and then you start to see, themes come out, and documentary is a really interesting way to like kind of make sense of the world and also like kind of figure out like what's actually going on.
And I think it's actually become a way more powerful medium than the news. It seems like nobody trusts the news anymore.
No.
But people are way more inclined to trust an independent documentary filmmaker in their objective analysis of a big problem.
Yeah, I think people are hungry for that because we just see so much slop and weirdness, like.
And it's like everything feels propagandized.
Yeah,
like, you know what you're going to get
authentic
on Fox News and then CNBC. You're going to get left biased news or right biased news. And I think people really just want to know, okay, well, what's the actual truth?
Yeah, what's the situation? Yeah.
Yeah. So the company you work for, are they working on all sorts of different film projects or?
Yeah, we've got like kind of a variety of stuff we've shot. The last film we did is called The Grim and the Dark. It's about kind of Warhammer, tabletop gaming, that world. They went to like a very specific art genre in that world. And we took along John Heater, the Napoleon Dynamite. He was kind of like our, he kind of led us through the world. So they took John and they had him interview people within the world, and it was like a really fun kind of combination of.
What's Warhammer gaming?
Like Dungeons and Dragons, like the miniatures, like the, Yeah.
I didn't know that's what you
games.
called it, Warhammer.
That's like a term I throw out because that kind of, if you know Warhammer, you can
Yeah, it
know what I'm
encompasses
talking
that.
about. Yeah, but if you don't know Warhammer, it's just tabletop
Ryan, who was here
stuff.
earlier, she's all about Dungeons and Dragons. And
Yeah.
I've never played it. I'd say it seems like it'd be pretty cool, and it seems like a lot of people get into it.
Yeah.
So you have a doc. There's a doc coming out on that pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, that one's been released.
Oh, okay.
So we've done like niche communities, and then my first documentary I worked on at Trademark was about Tia B. Stokes. She's a Utah local, and she's a cancer survivor, like mom of 5, has a really amazing, inspirational like cancer story, and so we did like a documentary on her.
That's
It was
cool.
really cool. Yeah.
And how do you get these funded and then released usually?
Yeah, so we have a private investor, and then we usually just like release them on our website, and then from there, like we also we just like shop them around, and then they get distributed. Like you can watch The Grim in the Dark on like Amazon Prime and on Apple TV, and then you can watch like Tia's documentary. There's like a few free websites that it's hosted on right now if you like Google it. So I'm not really familiar with, I don't like really have a lot of control in that area. I'm not really over that, but it's been kind of interesting.
Do you guys ever try to go to film festivals?
Yeah, we've been doing film festivals for The Grim in the Dark and for Tia's story this past year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. It's just kind of a weird world in film these days, because when I was a filmmaker, I'd always prefer to watch or premiere my short films in theaters,
Yeah.
and then talk about them. But it just seems like most people aren't so willing to go to a theater anymore. So I guess they mostly premiere just on the streaming platforms.
Yeah, it's interesting. And we do like our own private events where we'll like show our film and invite people, but that's kind of it. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I think that's awesome. It's great to see that there's companies in Utah that are engaged in film and documentaries, and yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, thank you. It's
Yeah,
fun.
thanks so much for coming on, Madison.
Yeah, thank you.
And how can people learn more and follow your work and what you're doing with the soda, like when it's going to come out or where it's going to come out?
So you can follow Trademark Film Studios on Instagram. You can follow me. I'm Madison Pope Creative on Instagram. And that's where we'll have like the most recent updates.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Were there any other questions, Eddie?
Didn't see any.
Okay.
The screen kind of blacked out. Yeah, not really. Just people talking about their soda stories.
Nice.
Are you a soda drinker?
I do like the Beach Bum from Thirst, or from Swig.
Swig, is that a Mountain Dew base?
It's like a, I don't think it's Mountain Dew, but it's got syrup and it's got like real mango and lemon or something like that.
Yeah.
It's really good.
There's some really good ones.
It's like,
yeah.
I'm amazed how really tasty it is, and it's only like $3. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. My kids love soda, and I don't let them drink it. Like they'll almost never get it.
Yeah.
And so they are always trying to find ways to get it, and I think it's horrible for kids. So my personal opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you want to be a bigger part of Utah Stories, go out to utahstories.com, subscribe to our free digital newsletter, or to help and be a part of supporting our local journalism, go out and become either a contributing supporter or a subscriber for $5 or $10 a month. This is our current issue of Utah Stories. It's called Rage Against Conformity, and we're pointing out affordable housing solutions that are really outside of the box. These people started a homestead community out in a town near Delta, Utah called Riverbed Ranch, and it's a big community where people can go and have families and support and have families by growing their food on the land and raising animals. We went out there and recorded a video we're going to release pretty soon. Love this picture of this little kid chasing a duck as big as him, or a goose. This issue's also got story about the player BYU paid $7 million to have come play on their team for 1 year, Jabari Parker, who looks like he's going to the NBA next year. Got stories about the political divide of Red Rock County in Moab, or it's Grand County in Moab. And then a big Renaissance fair out in Price, Utah. So we really are able to cover all of Utah and really all of the niche local cultural things that are happening. And this is quite expensive. So if you would want to help us cover these awesome things that are happening, in especially local Utah, that's what we're all about. And go out and visit Utah Stories for more. So finally, like, subscribe, share, and I think that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.